Hey Sunshines, welcome back to Rena Loves Reading, a place where we're talking about the books that we're reading, the books that we're adding to our TBR piles, and the books that we really need to get off our TBR piles. Today, we are doing another episode of Clearing My TBR. So we're talking about all of the books that I read this week. And we've got about like 6, 7. I'm not embarrassed by that. I read really quickly and I listen to audiobooks really quickly, so I am crushing it. And since I didn't have a lot of work to do in terms of monthly reports for work, I got a lot done. I'm actually quite kind of proud of myself. So I am looking forward to talking about all of this. So let's get into it. I'm going to alternate books that I read digitally with the books that I read in physical form. So the first book we're going to talk about is Two for the Dough. Janet Ivanovich, second book in the Stephanie Plum series. So Staten Island, kind of cop mystery, detective, bounty hunter. So she is a bounty hunter and she's constantly trying to make money. So it was a quick read. I finished it in about an hour so of drive time while I was working this week, so not mad about that. The second book I read this week, City of the Dead. So this is the second book in the Hawk series, which is a follow-up to James Patterson's Maximum Ride series. This book was okay to me, and that's kind of what I am feeling about the entire Hawk series. Like, they're not amazing, but I also might be aging out of the genre that this really falls into. Like, it's supposed to be young adult, but the writing style is middle grade, but the themes are young adult. So it's in that weird thing. Weird genre and weird age gap thing. I think this book struggled a lot with second book syndrome because it was delving a lot into the political system that has come up since basically the fall of the city in the first book. So it did suffer from that. The ending was good. Like, it left it on a cliffhanger like most second books do. So I think if this is going to be a trilogy, the third book is going to be the best of it. I'm hoping it will be good. I will continue to, because at this point I've read the 5 books in the Maximum Ride series and the 2 books in the Hawk series, so I'm 7 books into this world, so now I'm just not going to give up even if I age out of this group of what this is intended for. So we will see. The next book that I read, I work with a lot of kids and with kids with mental health problems, so I'm constantly trying to find books that I can use with kids, because oftentimes I've found kids don't want to talk. So if you give them a medium to find a creative outlet or a story that they connect to, they're more likely to talk to you. So the next book I read for that purpose. It was on sale on the Kindle store for $2.99 and I saw it and I loved it and recommended it to all of the people I'm working with. So the book is The Little Butterfly That Could. So basically it's a butterfly struggling with anxiety symptoms and not believing in himself that he could actually do what he needs to do to survive. So for that purposes, it works really well with the kids I'm working with. So I'm excited. I read it very quickly. It was only like 40 pages, so that was a quick read because it's a kid's book. The third book I read this week. You know how I complained? So I was 70 pages in when I filmed my video last week of clearing the pile. And I complained about the 70 pages I was in, and I nearly gave up on this book because the main female character was whiny. I'm eating my words on this book. Like, after I got past that initial opening and got into the series or the book, the heart of the book, I fell in love with it. So I'm basically eating my complaining words right now, and I don't know how I feel about that. But I enjoyed it. I quickly read it. Once it gets going, it moves quickly. So that was a good thing about it, because this is a chunky book. This is like 700 pages. Very, very chunky. Finished it in a day and a half. Yeah. I quickly ate my words on this one. Enough to the point that I've already checked out the third book from Libby. And I'm already like 20% into that book on Sunday. So yeah. Next book. I love mangas. I love reading anime. I've finished like Bleach. I finished Fairy Tail. Finished Naruto. So I read a lot of the big three. I need to get into One Piece, and that's going to be part of the mission this year. But I read Boruto Volume 13. Just a continuation of kind of the sequel to Naruto. It follows Naruto's children and all of the other main characters from Naruto's world and their children, and how they progress through the ninja world. We're getting to a point in this series where we're about to have a very, well, realistically, this one ended on a very big cliffhanger that I want to know what happens to Naruto. And I have to wait for the next one to come out, and I'm kind of frustrated about that. Like, really frustrated. Like, I want to know what happens. But bad guys come in, they're attacking the village, so that's kind of where this one focused. It was very fight heavy, so not a lot of words in it, but a lot of action. Very action paced. I enjoyed this one. Next book. I finished one of my book of the month books for this month, and I finished The Dating Plan. Again, fake fiance trope is kind of my heart. The fake dating. I blew through this basically. It was good. I wish it went into some more details on why, like, the relationship not broke up, but you know how in most romances there's that conflict that pulls apart the main characters and puts them back together. I wish there was more detail in that compared to what it had in it. I think it needed to be expanded on a little bit more, but getting out of the reading slump I was after reading so many books in January, this was what I needed. It was the nice, soft, fluffy romance that brought smiles to my face as it got me out of that fantasy world that I've been sitting in roughly. I read a lot of fantasy, kind of a little burnt out on it a little bit, so I'm trying to expand and integrate some more things in. So I enjoyed it. I recommend it. Another book I read this week was Fable. So I enjoyed Fable. I'm enjoying it so much. And it wasn't like anything I've read recently, so it basically follows pirates and centers around basically the trade of this world and its impact on its people. And so the main female character, Fable, was abandoned. Her mother has died, her dad abandoned her, and she's basically trying to survive in this world where she meets people and trades the goods that she is finding. So we follow her through her journey as she reconnects with her father and all of this, and following the steps that the dad, who she believed completely abandoned her, had set in place to keep her safe. And then it's also got a little bit of a romance aspect of it too. So I gave it 3 stars because it was different and I liked it, and probably if I reflected more on it like now, I would enjoy it even more. But my ranking of stars is kind of like 1 star, I will never read this. What did I just read? 2 stars, okay, I can see the potential. 3 star is your average. 4 stars, oh, this is good. This entertained me a lot. 5 stars, freaking where's the sequel? I want it now, basically. So this was an average book for me. I will continue on with the series because I own Namesake and it's in my TBR pile and I can already check it out from Libby, so I will probably continue on in the series in the next couple of weeks to see where it lands, because it did leave it on a cliffhanger, like most books with sequels does. But my favorite book for the week, which I did not expect at all, did not expect to like this. I wanted something different, so I got it. My boyfriend's mother recommended this author. But, oh my goodness, Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I can see why it won Book of the Year for Book of the Month. Holy crap. This made me laugh. This made me cry. It had conflict within families. So this book takes place throughout the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression and its impacts on families. And it follows a woman whose husband leaves and abandons her and the family. And then her son, who has asthma, can't stay in Texas because of the snow. Not snow. Texas only gets snow in weird years, like this year or last year, where it basically shut Texas down, from what I understood. But basically, dust storms in Texas, basically. So he can't stay in Texas anymore, so they go out to California, and you see how prejudice continues to fall low this family just because they're fleeing the Dust Bowl. And I want to say that this was a hard read. This was an emotional read, because you see people, and like what happened during the Great Depression, what happened during the Dust Bowl, fall from a place of privilege to poverty to just barely surviving to experiencing prejudice themselves because they are in poverty, and treated like the immigrants that those that live in California and have made a living in California at this time sees them. They're second-class citizens. And you follow this family as they lose everything. They try to regain. Tragedy strikes. Tragedy over tragedy over tragedy. At points, I had to put this book down just to process what went on and to understand, to kind of try to put myself in the position of the characters, to understand if I was in the situation that they were in, if I had lost everything, would I be making the same choices? Would I be fighting as hard to survive as the main characters are? Or would I just have given up? Because honestly, with what goes on in this book, I don't know if I would have the mental fortitude to be able to survive and keep going like the mom in this book does. You see this mom transform from a very insecure teenager, not teenager, but early 20s, mid 20s, as she tries to discover herself, to a confident woman that stands up for the rights of others and the impacts that has on her kids. And it kind of asks that questions of, if I have the power to stand up, if I have the power to, even though I don't think I can, is it my job to stand up for the needs of others? Does that make me more of the person that I want to be? The person that I want to model to the younger generations? But holy crap. And that's Alice, my corgi, barking because the postman has arrived. I am hoping that they're coming with the rest of my books. But that was the last book I read this week. And I think, so I'm collecting, each month I read, I am collecting my favorite book of the month to maybe do a list at the end of the year, just to, for my own record's sake, to say, this is the book that I enjoyed the most for the month of January, February, March. This is probably this month's. If I do not find any other books that I like more during this month, this will probably be February's. and I'm looking excited to see my favorite books for throughout the year. Well, thanks for joining me. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment. I'm generally in the comments. If you comment, I'll probably comment back. Later this week, we're going to get a book haul because my boyfriend and his mother decided for Valentine's Day just to give me book money. I appreciate it. I love it. So I'm going to do, once I finish and upload this, I'm running to Barnes & Noble and using that money to pick up more books. So tomorrow, because I think this is getting uploaded on Sunday, we're going to have a what am I reading this week video. Tuesday, probably an unboxing of the Mortal Instruments and other stuff that I've gotten from LitJoy recently. Wednesday, we will probably have the book haul because I'm excited to show you everything that I got, either digitally or through my little shopping spree at Barnes & Noble that I'm going to go on to. So I hope you have a blessed day, and I thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.